Now, our next guest, you've probably seen him on television. You've probably heard him on the radio. Now, here he is at Alumet. It's the inventor of the wind-up radio, amongst other things, Trevor Baylis OBE.
Oh, age concern. Well, very, very privileged to be here. You know, I am absolutely amazed. Everybody thinks that to be an inventor, you have to have a Viennese accent and see broken glasses. Do you understand me? No, ironically, that's the way it is. As it says on the back of this excellent book, right? The key to success is to risk thinking unconventional thoughts. Convention is the enemy of progress. As long as you've got slightly more perception than the average rat loaf, you can invent something. All right? Now, I truly do mean that. I mean, when I was a child, I could do the most amazing things. When I was a child, I could do the most amazing things with my Meccano set, and yet better stand in front of this, hadn't we? When I was a child, I could do the most amazing things with my Meccano set, and yet I couldn't even write my name. But there's an expression: chance favours the prepared mind. You know, when you learn to play with these as kids, you remember all about nuts, bolts, screws and washers. And in fact, ironically, I was more of an engineer at the age of 5 because literally I was brought up during the war when every night was firework night, especially at Coventry and many other places. So I did sort of grow up rather rapidly in those days, and I was actually taught by my parents because we never knew if the school would be open. Anyway, moving along. Back to what I was saying about chance favours the prepared mind. Now, for those that don't know, I was quite a lucky boy, really. Or incidentally, I'm going to play a little game with you. What do you think I used to do for a living? Come along. Come on. Come on. No, I was a stuntman, believe it or not. I, in fact, made enough money doing an underwater escape act at a Berlin circus at the Deutschlandhalle in 1970 to be able to buy a plot of land on an island where I live in the Thames and build the house of my dreams. But as I was building the house literally came from the workshop. And so at a very early age, I decided, why should I have to put a suit on every morning and go to some ghastly office in the middle of nowhere, overlooking the tower block, and then come all the way back in the evening and then watch, I don't know, some crazy program like EastEnders or something like that, in and out, in and out. Now, the other thing is, too, who wants to be the richest man in the graveyard, right? There are no pockets in a shroud. Do you understand me? The most important thing, though, is following your heart. Do what really gives you a buzz. And I think the combination of making a fortune and doing the job you most enjoy comes back to you, this gentleman here. Very smart with your glasses, sir. That suit looks very expensive. No, but anyway, back to the idea. I was at my home one day watching television. I could have been watching Come Dancing or The Golden Shot, but I was actually watching a program about the spread of HIV, AIDS in Africa. Now, this was terrible. They were throwing these dead bodies down graves. It was like Dakar. Oh, it was ghastly. And I was going to switch over, but I listened to the message, and basically it was the only way they could stop this dreadful disease cutting its way through Africa and many other places was through education and information, which could be best brought to these people using a radio. But there was a problem. Most of Africa didn't have electricity, and electricity in the form of batteries were horrendously expensive. People were bartering their maize and their rice in order to obtain batteries, and where do you get batteries? Up the Wadi Tharthar, you understand me? Now, then I think back into time, and I think of the old-fashioned gramophone. I thought to myself, if you can get all that noise by dragging a rusty nail around a piece of old Bakelite using a spring, surely there's enough power in a spring to drive a dynamo, which in turn would drive a radio. Now, believe it or not, within half an hour, I managed to get, I went to my workshop, which is the graveyard of 1,000 domestic appliances, and I found a cheap transistor radio. And I took the batteries out and soldered 2 wires to a small DC motor, which I put into the chuck of a handbrace, turned the handle, and I got the first bark of sound, and that was within half an hour. Now, fortunately for me, I did understand a thing called intellectual property. Were any of you people here, boys, girls, otherwise, taught anything about intellectual property at school? Put your hands up. I said, put your hands up. Now, look, you're laughing, but that's absolutely disgusting, right? If you go down the pub and tell everybody about that great idea, once you put it in the public domain, theoretically, you cannot now protect it, right? All our students, especially the engineers, have got to be taught this from day one, so that they do then instinctively know what they should and what they shouldn't do. Anyway, one led on to the other, and as we know, with the help of the Tomorrow's World team and one or two others, I made the first wind-up radio. Oh, that's a later one. The first one was, you know, like an old-fashioned battery, if you understand, absolutely vast. If you could pass the little one up, please. Now it's come down to this size, which contains its own charger for your mobile phone, and it's got lamps on it, and it, you know, does all the various channels. And the new technology has come along now where, quite frankly, because the amount of energy that's required has come right the way down, soon wind-up laptops will be a breeze, all right? But what I'm here for really is to celebrate you guys and girls who have had the guts to literally get off your backsides and have a go, and how you've managed to change the community by putting your networks together and putting your team together. You know, during these difficult times, we have to make sure that those great British inventors or inventions make it happen for this nation. I want the theft of intellectual property to become a white-collar crime. If I was to nick your car, I could go to jail. But if I was to nick your knowledge, as they've been doing recently with a paper, right, I could go to jail. That's the way I want it. In fact, what tends to happen is if some huge corporation nicks your idea, how can you find £1 million a day to take them to court? So in other words, what I'm campaigning for, basically, is to bring invention as part of the national curriculum so that all the kids can have a go, and that there's a safe haven or a place they can go to, and where they can rely on a partnership with you, making sure, of course, that when the money rolls in, the inventor, he or she, are not rolled out. Anyway, won't bore you anymore. Thank you very much for coming.
Just recently represent Green Apple to Lee Summers. Lee Summers.
It's my privilege now to present this award to Lee Summers. Where are we?
Yeah, he's Lee. One Lee.
Oh, Lee. Sorry, mate. Congratulations.
Let's have a photo.
Cheers. All right?
Thanks, Trevor.
My pleasure.
Follow that, as they say.